Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. I'm very pleased to have my good friend James Bernau here with me today. James has made a big transition from his W-2 to being a serial entrepreneur, and I'll let him talk about his current company, and he can also tell us a little bit about his background and how he made the journey into being a business owner here in Phoenix. James, thank you for coming.
Hey, Tim, thank you. Appreciate it. And loved being on your podcast, and thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it. So just like Tim said, is about back in, I'm going to say about 12, now it's almost 15 years now, Tim. Wow, 15 years. I was working for corporate America, and I always wanted to be my own boss, and I decided to venture off from corporate America and start my own business. So started a small company that had at one point over about 40 employees, and was doing well in the Valley. And after COVID happened, we had to transition into a new business. And like I tell my wife and friends is that I feel that I can go out there, whatever I do, and feel that I can make an impact and be able to make a business out of something. And my current business is One Day Doors.
Excellent. So yeah, COVID was a big speed bump for a business based on social gathering.
Yeah, it sure was. Yeah, I was in the kids entertainment business where I had a fun zone for kids ages 1 to 10 to come to, kind of like a cafe style Starbucks meets indoor playground for kids versus cafe. And yeah, that business was devastated when COVID happened. We also had a second business called Playgrounds Dart Zone, which was kind of in that same type of kid family entertainment business that took a major hit too as well. So, man, it was difficult, but definitely popped out of it and went into One Day Doors and Closets. So, yeah, doing great.
And talk a little bit right now just about what One Day Doors is, and I guess how big it is, what your region is, where you service, and what sort of products you've had in this. I would say Phoenix is still a big destination. So there's still a lot of, I'm in real estate, and a lot of people ask me, how's the market? And it's still growing. It's still a destination. A lot of people are still coming here, and you're taking advantage of that. Go ahead and talk a little bit about that, your company.
Yeah, thanks. Well, when I was thinking about what do I wanted to do after my other business, I wanted to go into something that could sustain, a major disaster like COVID. And I always thought that, going in some type of construction, I'm kind of handy myself, and I want to say I'm a do-it-yourselfer. And I came across this company of One Day Doors, that they had a great product. And what we do is we replace interior doors throughout the house, and put brand new, beautiful doors. Most contractor grade buildings or houses that people they buy out in Arizona, mostly they're just what I call track housing. They put in the cheapest, ugliest doors, in my opinion. And I think most homeowners just don't have a resource of how to replace them. So I think this is just a booming part of construction that that no one really services well. And I think getting into the door business, and especially in Maricopa County, it's been great. I think the ceiling's really high right now. There's building, for the way I look at it, is that in the last like 25 years, major influx of building happened, and those houses need to be rehabbed now. And so I think people are spending money in the houses now, and it's great. I think the forecast, my partner and I were just talking about this just today, that we feel in the next 20, 30 years is going to be a huge viable company still, because of the demand for what we do.
Yeah, for somebody who's owned a few different houses and you see the different properties, you don't appreciate if it's an entry level house or something, you don't appreciate the difference between the contractor cheapy doors versus a quality door. Um, how well, just if you have children, how not durable they are, right? How fragile they are, but also the noise reduction, right? And things like that. Once you see those and you see the quality doors, yeah, it's hard to go back. And talk a little bit about that space in the sense of repair. When people do have them, they normally go get another cheap door at the Home Depot was their only alternative in the past. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. I would think most homeowners, their first thought of where to get something replaced is the home improvement stores, Home Depot, Lowe's. Ken, have you been down Lowe's and Home Depot and looked at the doors there? They're beat up. They're just, they don't really sell any quality doors there at all. But I think that's what customers see, and that's what's in their mind frame when they're looking to replace their doors. They just have no idea what's out there, and we're able to bring that into their house. So it's really cool. We're also called. I mean, I would probably sum it up in our business too. We do everything. So, for example, is it okay if I walk you through it? I'm gonna walk you through what we do.
Please.
So, when we go into somebody's house, and if you were going to replace a door, there's only really two ways to do it. I mean, you could rip it all out, replace the jamb, the casings, get a new door in there. It's called the pre-hung. Throw it in there, have it installed. Then you have to hire a painter to come back in to paint the door. So what we do is we take those two trades out of the equation. We do interior door slab replacement. We use technology. We measure the jamb up to 1/1000th of an inch. I mean, I'm talking, Tim, can you imagine with your tape measure? You're like, I mean, how accurate can you be with a tape measure versus a computer now?
Right. And my tape measure doesn't have thousandths.
No. And then we cut everything on a CNC machine. So we have a computer, we download the measurement, and it's cut perfectly to your opening. So usually on installation, our guys are just, I'm not going to say it's plug and play, but it's pretty close. There is some hinge adjustments.
Yeah.
And yes,
as somebody who's hung a couple doors, it's not easy.
Yeah. No,
oh,
very humbling, right? Very humbling.
yes.
So we take
some are easier than others. You can easily get over your head.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then, for example, look, I can see in the background in your doors over there, there's our knotty alders with what we call a kerf jamb, and that means that the drywall goes inside the jamb. So the only way really to replace your doors if you want to be done is door slab replacement, what I do. And you can say like, hey, the old school Finnish carpenter, yeah, he can go out there and mortise with his chisel and get that up there. But those guys, man, they're not around anymore, unfortunately. And man, it would take almost 8 hours to do an 8 foot door. It looks like you have back there. I can only imagine. We can install over 30 to 35 doors in one day, and there's just no other business that can do that.
No. And I guess one other thing I'd like to point out is property values are up. And that seems to be one part of the house that has been neglected. And
for sure.
You're going to remodel a house, you're going to make everything nice, and you can put in crappy doors. It doesn't make sense. So you can tell the quality of there is lacking often. And so if you want to get solid wood doors, or you offer, I've talked to you before about this and seen your showroom. You have a lot of really quality doors available.
Yeah, we offer a hybrid door. We don't offer any contractor grade. You can get a completely solid door, and then you can get even a knotty alder if you wanted to replace yours, Tim. Yeah, for sure. It's like I said, it's a great process, and that's just one part of the business. We also do closet organizers, barn doors installation, really kind of getting all that door needs for our customers. So it's like a one-stop shop. I don't want to say it's the Staples easy button, but it kind of is, and that's why everybody loves us.
Excellent, thank you. So this as we talked about, you've had a couple of businesses prior.
Mm-hmm.
Almost every successful businessman I know has had multiple businesses. Most first-time businesses fail. I don't remember the statistic, but it was high. And so Reflecting back on that, can you share a specific lesson or something you think that's helped you grow and be more successful?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say going back to my first business, it was for more me, it was mostly trial and error. So it hurt me when I made a mistake on something I wanted to try. It was very, a financial impact if it didn't work out for me. Um, I think my lesson learned on that is really to really get more data, really hone in. Now there's so much information on the web. Now there's so much information out there for successful business people that I should have reached out to really kind of compare
Uh,
notes before I went into some of these projects I did. And then I think I would have had a definitely better outcome. As a small business owner, you make a decision. Yes, I'm gonna so imagine you're a restaurant and you're like, hey, I'm always packed and I want to increase my dining hall by double, right? Well, if that doesn't work out, you're only able to make reservations for three-quarters of it. Was that a better option for you? Did it pan out? So some of those
right.
things are very difficult. And so, but if you had the data and you did the data research, I'm sure you'd be in a lot better position to make that a more informed decision for sure.
Sure, sure. And again, that's the experience, I guess, that comes, or the wisdom that comes with experience of doing. Entrepreneurs are doers, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of people have ideas, good ideas, but they don't act on them.
Yep.
I'm an analytical type, so I suffer from paralysis analysis. But yeah, entrepreneurs take action, and that's huge. So kudos to you for doing that. That gets back to one of the other questions I like to ask people is, what is your appetite for risk generally, and how has it changed over time?
Obviously starting a small business, leaving corporate America, that's a huge risk. I mean, that I would say my at a scale of 1 to 10 risk level, I was at a 10, right? You're very uncomfortable for a couple of years until you get that business going. I think my risk level now is down to about a 7. I'm still, but I'm smarter, I'm wiser, I make better informed decisions. I rely on, market analysis and stuff like that. So I'm still pretty much at the high risk there level, Tim. I mean, I don't think
Right.
I'll ever go back down to the, status quo of a number 3 or number 4 risk level, but I
Working a
think
W-2 for somebody
yeah,
else.
yeah, exactly. That's those days.
Although I know, yeah, yeah, I know a lot of people who chose that route for safety, and then their company folded years
Hmm.
later anyway. And so that was one of my favorite lines. I think it was a Jim Carrey speech where he talked about how his father didn't follow his dreams and took the safe route and lost his job anyway.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so you might as well aim high and
Classic.
follow your goal, or aim at your high goals.
Yep. Abs-
Um, okay. Underrated skill or habit that's been pivotal for small business success.
Yeah, I think for me, the way one of my unrated skills would probably, my ability to, I don't want to say my ability to have great conversation, but I think my ability to connect with people and to really genuinely, um, if I'm selling something or just communicating, I think the communication skill just does not get enough recognition, especially in sales or just in business or even telling what your employees need to do. I think a solid leader just has to have solid communication skills. I think that's probably a good unrated skill level that I have that, you know, that's helped out for me for sure.
Oh yeah, I see that in you big time, right? You're authentic, right? You're genuine, sincere, and that goes a long way, particularly in sales, right? When you're trying to help people with their solve their problems.
Yeah, I was just listening to Dr. Taldini's podcast. I just started listening
Okay.
to him, like about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and trying to use his 7 ways of persuasion into my business.
Hmm.
Man, wow, those just when I hear some of those stuff, just everything goes whoosh, whoosh, just blows me away. And some things I just unconsciously do already, Tim. It's crazy that I was like,
Right.
wow, okay, I see it. I'm doing that. And it's like really when you're getting connecting that with that customer and you're getting that them liking you and them feeling comfortable to do something with you is just it's just awesome. Have you had a
Right. I
chance to
mean,
listen?
go ahead.
I was just going to ask if you had a chance to listen to any of his podcasts before.
Oh, no, I have read a couple of his books though. Yeah, he's a
Mm.
professor psychology. I actually got to meet him at a conference once too,
Oh, wow.
a couple of years ago. Yeah. But yeah, he's a great speaker because he talks about things that are very tangible to all of us. We're all interacting with each other, and it's insightful. A lot of it you kind of already know. I think it was Samuel Jackson who said most people don't need to be taught; they just need to be reminded.
Reminded,
I
yep.
feel like that. A lot of it's like, oh yeah, and be more deliberate and intentional with it, with sort of the way you interact with people and so forth. So yeah, that's a question I like to ask people too, is personal development and mindset, right? What books or podcasts
Yeah.
have influenced your outlook on wealth and success? And yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
one. Cialdini,
Yeah.
Robert Cialdini, if in case
Yep.
anybody wants to look him up. Um, so before we move on to a couple other topics, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about doors and trends that excite you in your industry and how you're preparing to leverage them for growth and or impact.
Yeah, especially in the as far as the raw goods right now, we're seeing that lumber is kind of stable right now as far as door costs. We haven't had a price increase over, oh my gosh, almost 14 months now. So that's awesome. And the futures on that look pretty good actually. So that's super exciting how we're able to keep costs down and be able to, still get customers under contract at a really great value. So I think that's gonna spring forward us in the next couple years. It's the growth out in here in Arizona is just phenomenal. I don't think it's slowing down. I mean, you probably know since you're in real estate a little bit more than I do, but our outlook just on the construction side, we are into rehabbing houses. So all the houses that we're going through the houses right now in the 2000s. In the next 5-10 years, we're going to be hitting the houses that were built in 2010. So it's just going to be one of those trickle events that this is a viable business for future. This is I was
Right.
thinking about this the other day that I could pass this on to my kin if I wanted to, or family, any type of family, that this business is going to be around for a long time, for sure.
Right. Yeah. That's one reason why I'm a big fan of real estate is everybody always needs a place to live. And
No,
it's very recession resistant and all that. Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna piggyback on what you're gonna say and say that I don't want to sound too frank about this a little bit, but I don't think the next generation coming up is more of the do-it-yourselfers. So I feel
Right.
that the
Right.
more service-based companies, especially in the construction world, even down to like the locksmiths and just the simple stuff that you and I probably take for granted that we know how to do, um, those are creating new jobs for small businesses. Like the other day, I mean, I get when I see signs for people that pick up dog waste for people and stuff like that, and
Right.
people are just not doing that stuff anymore. We are becoming a service-based company. I mean, a service-based
Society.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
100%.
crazy. Yeah. What's your
And
thoughts on
it's
that?
interesting. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And your product in particular sounds great because it's like I was saying before, it's kind of an artisan task to hang a door. It takes some real skill and uh uh just things the way things are plug and play now. Oh, your door is broken. We'll just scan it and put it in a perfect fit one right away, right?
Yeah.
Fast. That's what people want now. They don't want to have to pay labor for 10 hours for somebody to put in a door.
Correct. And imagine that we're able to take two contractors. You have your from the person that hangs the door to the person that paints the door, completely installed. We can do a door literally in about 20 minutes. So it's just awesome.
Right. But the
It's
labor
awesome.
cost savings there alone, right, is huge.
Huge. And we're able to pass that on to our customers. So I think that's a huge value for them as well.
Right. And you also mentioned jobs in the area. That's another thing as a small business owner. I mean, you're the backbone of the economy here, and thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we're looking to, and then by fourth quarter we're looking to add another sales guy and another two installers. So we did add
Nice.
another fleet vehicle this year, and it's awesome. I'm still kind of, I when our business grows, we put things into place. So we move really quick. So we don't want to miss out on anything for sure.
Okay. Yeah, excellent. So on that note, right, success and growth comes with new challenges, right? How do you approach learning new skills, and especially those sort of outside your comfort zone?
Well, I would say my going back to this business is that I've never done really face-to-face sales before. And going into people's houses and telling about our product, I've never done that before, Tim, and that was frightening, very frightening. But
Huh,
like I
really?
said, just being genuine and you know, I didn't want to be, I don't want to sound like the used car salesman, and but
Right.
I, yeah, I really wanted my approach to be genuine, honest, sincere. Um, and I think I don't do a hard sell. So I'm not, that probably might hurt me a little bit, but I believe in the long run, especially as a 5-star rated company, it's going to last a lot longer.
Right. Right, for sure. And it's easier when you have a great product, right? You're not
No,
like trying to sell somebody a lemon or something. It almost sells itself in a sense.
yeah, that's
You're
true. And
just
it's a,
helping people decide, figure out
yeah,
what they want, and what it's going to take for them to take action.
yeah, that is definitely correct. And I think that even going down to our installers and the person that answers the phone, everybody's got to be on the same page as well, as far as not only having a great product, but you got to have great employees. And having those two combinations really make a successful company. It's you got to have the right people, you got to train them right, and you got to take care of them. I can't tell you more about that. I mean, it's one of those
Can't say
things.
enough about it.
Save enough about thanks, Tim. I'm a little tongue tied a little bit. But yeah, it's the employee satisfaction. What I found out over my previous business is really have been honed in on that to make sure that checking in with them mostly on a weekly basis to make sure that their needs are met and that we're taking care of them for sure.
Are there particular traits, a trait or two, key traits that you prioritize when you're developing a team, when you're hiring?
I do. I mean, obviously, I communication. I'm gonna go back to one of my things I look for in an employee and the way they present themselves, because they are your face of your franchise when they're in people's houses or even on the phone, how they present themselves on the phone. I think those two traits that I look at that they have to pass those questions, and if they don't, then I don't hire them at all. It's I can't hammer that amount. I can't hammer that more and more about communication. That's one of my things you must have for sure. Hard work, that will come with it, with training and doing it right. We work smart, we don't work harder. And that's kind of like my motto.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So transitional question here. So maintaining success and financial stability requires strategy. In your business or personally, how do you plan for your financial future to ensure both stability and growth?
That's a good one, Tim. Well,
Yeah.
on the business, I think, you know, honestly, I think on the business, we get so focused in on the businesses that we sometimes forget about our personal level, that we are setting aside monies or dollars to expand or just for myself of let's invest this in somewhere else. Um,
Right.
my business partner and I, we strategize every quarter. We get together and see if we're hitting our goals. And we forecast out for the next couple of years, and we have a 5-year goal as well. Um, but at home, I think when you're in a husband and wife situation and you have a financial advisor, you have these three people, I call it like the iron triangle, right? um, I think that we don't, I gotta be honest, I haven't met with them for like 2 years. So that's something you just brought up that I'm definitely going to be, you know, making that phone call, setting up that meeting and making sure we're still on task of what we want, what my wife and I want to do.
Okay. Yeah. You're welcome for the reminder.
Thank you.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you have to sort of reevaluate your priorities, your goals, right? Both of us have kids going to college and other stuff with
Yep.
different expenses, how things change over time and how your goals change over time, and how's your progress been towards what you need to, where you need to get to? Okay.
It's getting a lot better. I mean, my progress is, unfortunately, I did have a company go under with COVID, so I feel like I'm a little behind on the 8 ball on some of that, but it's getting there. I'm not feeling 100% comfortable, but I'm feeling pretty good. I just, like I said, love to get in front of my financial advisor again and kind of dot the I's and cross the T's and see what's doing well.
Okay. Excellent. What do you wish you knew about building wealth and success earlier in your career?
Gosh, I
Or
wish I had.
what's advice to somebody listening who's
Start young.
interested maybe in the entrepreneurial?
Oh, absolutely. Start young. I wish I had a, big brother or a father figure that would say, hey, sat me down and said, hey, this is, for every, dollar you make, stash away, invest, 10 cents of it. I think you get locked in once you finish college and you get into um, a W-2 job and you get stuck in that 401k and you think that's going to take care of you. You're so young, you're 20 years old or 22 years old, and it's just not the case. Your growth is so slower than what I know now for sure.
Okay. So, and big piece of advice there was find a mentor.
Find a mentor.
Is that what I
Yes,
heard? Yeah.
that is find a
Okay.
mentor. Yes, thanks, Tim, for sure.
Yes, that's something that I didn't appreciate myself either. For decades, I was too busy working, right, sort of in my industry and not trying to look at a holistic, bigger picture. And as you get older, you start realizing I've met billionaires. The more successful they are, the more coaches and mentors they have. And
Yeah.
you'd think it'd be the opposite, right? But if you look at Tom Brady or something, he has the most coaches and trainers on the team.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like arguably the best quarterback ever. So it's funny.
It is true. Yeah, great point. Great point.
So for our listeners who want to learn more about you or One Day Doors and want to connect, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can go to our website at onedaydoors.com, or you can Google myself, James Bernau, One Day Doors at One Day Doors. I'm all over social media from Facebook, Instagram. Just put in, if you're in the Arizona market and you need a door name, just put interior doors. I should be the #1 ranking on there. But other than that, go to the website and we'll be able to take care of you for sure.
Excellent. Thank you, James. Thank you for watching, and thank you very much for joining me today. We appreciate you sharing your story, James, and your insights into success in this crazy and beautiful world. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it. Bye now.
Inspired by our guests? Visit phoenixprosperitypodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.